Thad Young is joining us. Thad, pretty impressive first half for your team tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we were still a little slow. You know, they picked us apart and coming down in transition, but you know, we just got to get back, play D, and get to the middle of the paint and keep those guys out.
What do you make of the young guys, though? I mean, getting up, Levine and Wiggins both showing their ability to get up and put it down.
Man, they're very athletic. One of Wiggins jumped over my head to go get one. So, yeah, those guys are very athletic, and you know, they're young.
Yeah, you got to watch above you when you're out there with those fellas. We'll let you go to the locker room, Thad. Thanks for the time.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
And when we come back, we're going to look more at the young guys who are already embracing the Minnesota way of life. Stay with us. We're just getting started here on Fox Sports North. Timberwolves as we get ready to start the second half here in downtown Minneapolis. Welcome back inside Target Center, everybody. Dave Bench, Jim Peterson along with you. Happy to be joined by Milt Newton, Timberwolves general manager, second season with the team. And Milt, so far so good for the Timberwolves. Do you like what you've seen from this team here tonight?
Yes, I do. What we've seen is a team we're trying to compete on the defensive end, which is what we need to improve on from last year. But also we've seen players sharing the basketball, trying to get the ball down low, go from inside to outside.
How tough is it to evaluate these guys when you've got so many people competing for spots on the roster?
It's not necessarily that tough because we look at the individuals first and foremost and how they contribute to the overall team. And so for us, what we're trying to find out is our foundation, who is going to compete, taking good shots, playing solid defense, and everything kind of falls in place after that.
Everybody talks about Andrew Wiggins, and they tell you he has a chance to really be special, and he's showing signs of that here tonight.
Yes, the one thing that he has shown that a lot of rookies don't show in their first year is that he is willing to let the game come to him. He takes open shots. Now, we would like for him to be a little bit more assertive at times, but right now he's letting the game come to him, which is fine by us.
I think that one of the things that both you and Flip talked about, and it's very important when you're a general manager in this league, is getting a balanced roster. And I think that one of the things when you look up and down your roster is you got multiple guys have the ability to play multiple positions, and that's really a luxury for a head coach. But in terms of where you feel right now, how do you think the roster is right now in terms of where you wanted it to be when you first came in?
Well, I think we're getting there. We have a mixture right now of young guys and solid veterans. I think we have to continue to help our young guys develop. I think we have a good unit of guys together, and it's just a matter of them playing together, learning each other. But where we are right now, I think we're on pace to where we want to go.
Nice pass by Roten there to Sims as the Sixers get the first points here of the second half. Rubio for Thad Young, the triple. Pekovic shot for the rebound, and it falls into the hands of Alexei Shved. Milt, how trying was the summer for you guys? You had to wait out those 30 days as the foul as Shved gets the bucket to go. You had to wait out those 30 days, and I know everybody was kind of just counting the days to be able to see whether or not the deal was actually going to be able to go down, whether or not it did go down. That had to just been gut-wrenching for you guys to wait that out.
Well, we waited out those 30 days knowing the outcome. The fans didn't know the outcome, but it was just a matter of waiting, like you said, waiting those 30 days so we can then announce it, so then our fans and our salespeople can get to work in terms of getting the season ticket, people that wanted new season tickets in place. But the time prior to that, working out the deal and trying to figure out the pieces that we want, that was the most trying time, as opposed to waiting for the 30 days.
Kevin, exactly. The whole LeBron James domino had to fall first before a lot of things could happen within the NBA in terms of player movement, in terms of scheduling national TV, in terms of
it pushed everything back.
Everything that had to happen. So it was really that time between the end of the season and when LeBron James decided where he was going to go, that was the most trying.
Exactly. And just like real dominoes, when you tip that first one over, everything falls in line after that. Yeah. But, we feel that we're in a good position. We got a good package as a result of the trade, and we're happy where we are.
Well, and the other thing, Milt, you've got a lot more flexibility now as Thad Young knocks it down on the baseline. You've got guys who are on rookie contracts. You get the $6.3 million cap exception, which is not to be taken lightly. That's a big deal for you guys as well.
No, that was great. And it could have been 2 separate deals, and if it was 2 separate deals, the exception would have been smaller. So we were able to do it with 3-way and get the larger exception, but getting the play of Thad in itself was a big priority for us, because with Kevin leaving, we had to have a 4 who has proven that he can do it in this league and have done it, and so we're happy with that.
Rubio off the feed from Thad Young, and Ricky buries the jumper. Timberwolves have things going offensively here to start the second half. Fed inside for Davies. So Milt, what's the biggest thing, the biggest obstacle facing you guys now? Is it deciding that final roster by October 27th?
Yes, and we're going to use the entire time that we have allotted to us to make that decision. We're very pleased with how Glenn has played in practice, and that first game played 12 minutes, was 3 for 4, but more than that, he looked very comfortable. He let the game come to him and didn't force the issue. So in regards to that, we're going to have a tough decision to make, and we'll use the full time allotted to us.
That Sims put back after the foul. You're referencing, of course, Glenn Robinson III. It was the 2nd-round pick and signed to a deal. You've got 16 players right now with partially or fully guaranteed contracts, so it is going to be interesting to see what unfolds here.
Yes, we also have to look at depth at each position and look at situations where if one of their starters were to get in foul trouble or injured, where it would leave us in regards to our depth at that position.
It seems like Glenn Robinson, he was kind of the overlooked Michigan player coming out this year. And I think that when you look at his athleticism, and Dave Benz talked about the 40-inch vertical club, he's in that club, by the way. I think people don't realize how athletic he actually is, but coming from his pro basketball background, his dad being a great player, he could really be one of those kind of surprises for a lot of people on this roster.
Yes, you mentioned being overlooked while at Michigan. He has a quiet demeanor about him and a quiet demeanor about his game. But you look at his talent, and sometimes you walk away saying he could have dominated that game. And at Michigan, the consensus was that he was more willing to blend in with the other guys as opposed to take over, which he's capable of doing.
Bamute, the baseline throw down. Bill, I know you got to go. Before I let you go, though, I got to ask you, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. One of the things Jim and I talked about in the first half, as Corey knocks it down, there's a lot of guys on this team with chips on their shoulder for whatever reason. Anthony Bennett wanting to live up to being the first pick in the draft. Andrew Wiggins wanting to maybe, show people, hey, you shouldn't have given up on me so easy. You mentioned Glenn Robinson III. Is that a good thing for guys to have some chips on their shoulder?
Well, I believe every player in the NBA plays with a chip on their shoulder, but in regards to our guys, I think they all have something to prove. But if it is used effectively and wisely, I think it's a good thing. Sometimes you can't let that chip on your shoulder make you become more of an individual player as opposed to being a team player. And so it hasn't gotten to that point, and hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, and it looks like it, we'll be sure to address it.
Officials trying to get some help here. Nobody seemed to have a clear look at it. Conversation between Ken Maurer, David Guthrie, and Ben Taylor as to who touched that ball last. Nice effort by Andrew Wiggins. Milt, we're going to let you go, but we appreciate you taking the time. Kansas Jayhawk national champion right here, so he likes seeing some Kansas Jayhawks excel in this league as well, and on his own team here in Minnesota.
Yes, I do. Thanks for having me.
All right, anytime, Milt. Some tough decisions ahead for the Timberwolves.
It's good to have tough decisions.
Well, and the other thing is, Jim, part of the equation too is J.J. Barea. A lot of people seem to think, hey, the Timberwolves, they're probably going to let J.J. Barea go. They're going to buy out J.J. Barea. However, they're going to part ways with J.J. Barea. I'll tell you what, J.J. Barea may have been the best player for the Timberwolves down in Mankato in training camp. He had an unbelievable training camp, and not a guy that you're going to part ways with lightly. These guys are all intent on making this a very difficult decision for Flip and the rest of the front office. Ricky Rubio is fouled. JJ not expected to play tonight as Mo Williams gets more of a look. JJ played in Indiana the other night.
Flip Saunders was a really good college basketball guard at the University of Minnesota. He's also done a great job of coaching guards. And when you think about the maturation of really every point guard that he's had and guards that he's coached, they've done a great job. Chauncey Billups comes to mind first and foremost. Guards flourish in his system. And J.J. Barea playing well is not a surprise given the fact that Flip holds guards accountable for execution and for doing the right thing. For J.J., not over-dribbling has been one of the things that's been important and why he's been good.
Wiggins comes over and gets a piece of that basketball, tracked down by Davies. Little flip, Wiggins right there again. He's all over the floor here in the second half. Rubio, and finally Young comes up with it. Brewer in front of everybody with the throwdown.
Well, Minnesota finally got the possession. Ricky Rubio looks at Thaddeus Young and says, finally, we got the basketball. We were all over the place. And if you're an opposing team playing against Rubio, Brewer, and Thaddeus Young, you're going to get the ball stolen.
And right on cue, Rubio steals it. The little fake to Brewer and takes it himself.
You're talking about 3 guys that were in the top 10 in steals, and
two of them were in the top 3.
Corey Brewer is one that he tends to gamble sometimes defensively in a good way, but Thaddeus Young and Ricky Rubio are great on-ball defenders too.
Timberwolves getting it done with the defense here in the second half. They've opened up an 8-point lead.
With energy and effort like that, that's a good thing.
You mentioned the steals leaders. Rubio and Young, 2 of the top 3. Corey Brewer was 7th, by the way, overall in the NBA. Just an unbelievable amount of energy and opportunistic hands out there with that lineup that the Timberwolves can put out there with Young and Brewer and Rubio.
And the thing about it as well is that when you've got a guy like Gorgui Dieng back at the rim protecting the basket, that allows your guys to be more aggressive defensively. How about that move?
Follows his own shot on top of it.
Should have been an and one. Body contact that time for Andrew Wiggins, but again, being able to jump multiple times is such an advantage, and he didn't get the layup to go, but got right back up and finished. Beautiful job by Andrew Wiggins.
Fed denied inside. It'll be Timberwolves basketball.
Again, strong move of the hoop, baseline drive, puts his body into the defender, trying to shake him off, and could have been an and one right there, body contact. Good vertical play by the defender, though.
And you talk about the steals. I mean, Wiggins, a guy, he didn't have a ton of steals at Kansas, Jim, but he didn't try for a lot. But Bill Self said that when he decided it was time to come up with a steal, most times he came up with the basketball. Recognizes when to jump on it. Basketball comes free, and the Sixers able to come up with it. Timberwolves with their largest lead of the night.
It's a pretty athletic lineup on the floor for Minnesota right now.
Fed. Hoop shot underneath. And Timberwolves come out of there with the basketball. Rubio ahead to Brewer, and Corey Brewer with his 3rd throwdown of the night. Rubio's got 9 assists. Setting up the rest of the Timberwolves starters.
Ricky's not going to know what to do with all the guys filling lanes this season.
10-0 run by the Wolves. Out of bounds. Keep it on this end. Well, and that's the thing, Jim. If ever there was a year that you think Ricky Rubio might be a legitimate threat to lead the NBA in assists, with all the guys that he's got on this team that can finish this season, it's going to be awfully fun to watch. Dieng able to track it down after initially misplaying it. Wolves trying to add to this 10-0 run. Brewer takes it himself with the left hand, no, and hung on the rim too long for Gorgui to get the rebound. Sixers, meantime, have missed their last 6 attempts. Sampson is fouled by Gorgui Dieng. Jakar Sampson, out of St. John's. We'll join the pack with the Timberwolves Flex Pack presented by US Bank. You choose the seats, you choose the price, and you choose the opponents. Get the best possible seats at a significant discount off of single game prices. Great seats are still available for the most anticipated games of the year. Pick your seats, pick your price, and pick your prey at timberwolves.com/flex. Nice cheer for Andrew Wiggins as he heads out of the game. Mo Williams comes in.
Andrew Wiggins is, so many interesting players and combinations that you play with this line, with Minnesota's roster. Wiggins plays the 2, but could play the 3. Same thing with Brewer. Interchangeable between the 2 and the 3. Mo Williams can play the 1 and the 2. JJ Barea, same thing. Just a lot of combinations that Flip Saunders can put on the floor.
Roten coast to coast, finger rolling in.
Roten really has been controlled fury in this ball game, and he was the same thing against Charlotte too. But just watching him this year, he's much more in control than he's been in years past. Last year, he played with fury, but a lot of times out of control. But so much better this year.
Also very young, just 21 years old. Three-pointer from Mo Williams. They're going to review that one. Sims, no. Tapped out of bounds by Thad Young. NBA Replay Center in Secaucus, New Jersey on top of that right now. They will, Jim, have the replay ready to go when the officials get it over to the monitor. Pick out the optimal replay for the officials to take a look at. But again, it will be decided by the officiating crew in the arena and not by the crew back in Secaucus. Rubio. Jang working against Gordon. Gorgie hangs in the air and falls to the ground. Now on the other end, it's Mo Williams hitting the deck. Jumper is good by KJ McDaniels. Jim, we started to mention in the first half, perhaps the most unusual nugget I've ever heard associated with a player. Mark Zumoff, the great play-by-play guy for the Philadelphia 76ers, as Rubio takes it in for the finish. Ricky's up to 8 points. Actually said on the broadcast the other night that McDaniels likes to sneeze. Actually told him that he likes to sneeze, as strange as that is. Mo Williams with the triple.
Just great basketball in transition. Corey Brewer was on a one-man break against 3 defenders, kicks it out to Mo Williams, who spotted up. Mo Williams is going to add much-needed perimeter jump shooting for this roster. KJ McDaniels, interesting, his contract situation, how he signed just a 1-year deal. Could have gotten 4 years, could have gotten a couple years guaranteed. Said, nope, I'm going to go for the 1 year. I want to be an unrestricted or restricted free agent at the end of this year. I'm going to roll the dice.
Timeout on the floor. Wolves started 0-5 from three-point range. They've hit on 3 of their last 5.
Players do this kind of stuff all the time, but Flip Saunders from an early age understood how important it is to handle the basketball well. Fundamentals are very important. You don't see pros doing it very often in groups like that. Guys certainly do ball handling drills in the summertime. Very important for your development.
Shot clock down to 3. Bennett with the throwdown. A.B.
That warm-up routine when I was a kid growing up, coming to Williams Arena when I was a kid, was tremendous.
Well, and Jim, you sent me a great YouTube clip last week, which showed even more of it. And the things the Timberwolves were doing to start training camp was exactly what the Golden Gophers used to do as part of that routine.
Nice roll that time by Anthony Bennett. They had a guy on a unicycle out there in the warm-ups. Are you kidding me? Juggling basketballs.
Well, here's the other great thing that Flip has taken away from that as Williams tries to get the 3, knocked into the hands of the Sixers. Sampson will bring it up.
You got to go on YouTube and check that thing out. 1975 Gophers warm-up.
You got to tweet it out. So
I'll tweet it out. I'll tweet it out. I did tweet it out actually back when I sent it to you. McDaniels is doing work here, isn't he? The Clemson product. Boy, he was a really good basketball player in college, but he is trying to play his way into stardom. Mark Bartelstein, his agent, said, we're not going to sign the 4-year contract. We're going to go for the 1 year, and he's going to earn it that one season. He's doing a great job already.
He scored the last 8 for the Sixers, who are trying to claw their way back into this game. Baseline jumper, no. Gorgie Jang with the rebound. Williams, contact with Casper Ware, who will be whistled up for the foul. But to go back to the point with Flip, not only the ball handling skills and the basics of the fundamentals, Jim, but you talk about the unicycle and the things they used to do. Flip has brought some showmanship back to the Timberwolves as well. I mean, look what he did with dunks after dark. You think that the Timberwolves,
exactly right.
If you had told somebody on the street that after the Timberwolves trade away Kevin Love, one of the top 10, maybe even top 5 players in the NBA, Zach LaVine hangs and gets it to go, that their first training camp practice is going to be on national TV after that trade goes down?
That's
what
exactly
a brilliant marketing move by Flip to have the dunks after dark and get the fans excited about the team and the team excited about the fans.
It really is. Flip understands it, and what was happening at Williams Arena at that time, it was, not a lot of excitement before Musselman came in, and he was able to build it as, again, Minnesota's getting out in transition. Again, Corey Brewer, Zach LaVine.
Dunk number 4 tonight just for Corey Brewer. Got to start keeping a dunk tracker here, Jim. 4 for Corey. Bennett's had a big one. Wiggins, LaVine.
It's been limited.
Thad
it's been
Young.
Slim pickings in years past. Corey Brewer blew away the field last year, but Minnesota has not had this kind of athleticism, maybe ever.
Gordon is met at the rim by Bennett, but still gets it to roll in. LaVine hoists it at the buzzer. I think it would have been late anyway, but falls off, and that will close out the quarter here in downtown Minneapolis. But the Timberwolves will go to the 4th, enjoying a 10-point margin over the Philadelphia 76ers. Timberwolves 15 of 25 shooting in that 3rd quarter, opened up as much as a 12-point lead, lead it by 10 as we go to the 4th. Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, you saw on the bench, has been a big part of this one here tonight, and that is very welcome news to Timberwolves fans who know that those 2 #1 overall draft picks are a big part of the Wolves' future, as is Zach LaVine on the floor right now. Mo Williams for LaVine, and a little bit off on that 3-point attempt. Daniels, guarded by Chase Budinger, relatively quiet night for Bud. Casper Ware defended by LaVine. Williams. Bennett just inside the 3-point line, leaves it short. Sampson knocked away by Budinger. Mo Williams couldn't get there in time, and it will be Sixers ball with 18 still to shoot.
It looks like Anthony Bennett has on Mars Blackman's glasses right now. Got the gazelles on. It can't be easy to see through those things when you're trying to shoot the basketball.
Well, and Jim, he had him on at the Dunks After Dark event that we mentioned last segment, and he had him on for about 3 minutes, and then he took him off.
Yeah, it's got to be uncomfortable, and it definitely impacts how you shoot the basketball.
Well, and he said the biggest thing is it affects his periphery vision. So
exactly.
Budinger knocked away. Did you ever have to wear those things?
I never wore goggles. I never wore any kind of protective glasses. I did have to wear the face mask. The face mask pre-Bill Laimbeer, though, the clear thing that he wore at one time. I had to wear the one that looked like a 1955, goalie mask. The
Jason Voorhees mask?
Yeah, that thing was awful.
Probably pretty uncomfortable, too. Bennett, nice look down low for Budinger, but Sixers quick to recover.
Sixers had a lot of block shots just generally in this game. Minnesota's had a fair share themselves.
Moultrie hangs in the air and gets the finish. Flip Saunders has seen enough. Little flurry here by the Sixers. What was once a 10-point lead is down to 4 here at Target Center. We get the regular season going. Regular season opener for the Minnesota Timberwolves comes October 29th at Memphis.
She's so good, she doesn't need a preseason.
Well, she's also been working a little bit all summer with the Minnesota Twins.
Mo Minnesota needed right there. Chase Budinger had a couple shots blocked on. Actually good action and really good passing to get Chase the basketball, but a couple block shots by Philadelphia and conversions at the other end tightened things up. good to come out of a timeout and knock one down.
Mo has a dozen points, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. Where? And that one rolls in.
One of the best times to drive the basketball is when someone's closing out to you that time. When he's trying to close out, where does the attack the closeout?
Williams again.
But Mo's one of those players that if he closes out and you attack his closeout, he's going to come back at you the other end.
Well, let's not forget, Mo Williams was an all-star in 2009,
exactly
playing with the Cavaliers alongside LeBron James. He's got just a little bit of playoff experience. Zach LaVine, still wetting his whistle in NBA experience, but looks pretty good on that throwdown.
What? Great timeout by Flip Saunders 1 timeout ago, and Minnesota really paid dividends afterwards. Great job by Wolves after a timeout to execute.
Timberwolves back up to a 9-point margin here at Target Center. Back at Target Center, Philadelphia trying to answer the Timberwolves run, and Moultrie with another bucket. He's had a nice game in double figures, scoring with 10 points. Williams. Works it into the corner. Buttinger for the 3, and Chase Buttinger rattles it in. Sixers looking to get the answer, and Williams drops it down.
Well, the Sixers have come a long way from their first exhibition game against Boston. That game was virtually unwatchable. And where they were then and where they are now is completely different. Minnesota didn't play particularly well in the first half against Indiana, played better in the second half.
Wow, what a spin move by Anthony Bennett, and one!
He is showing us a lot tonight in this ballgame.
He's got 10 points, trying to make it 11. He's got 6 rebounds and assists. Jimmy's been all over it.
Yes, he has. He's been very good from mid-range, but he shows you a little bit of the spin move and the athleticism right there. There's a reason why Cleveland picked him #1. If you watched him at UNLV, you saw flashes of brilliance, really. I mean, he was very physical, very gifted. You could see it right there, plain as day, if you saw him play in college, and you could see why Cleveland took him.
Well, Jim, the guy that the Cavaliers got last year, he had to deal with asthma and sleep apnea.
Yes,
he had to come off shoulder surgery, gained weight, wasn't able to partake in the offseason workouts as McDaniels throws it down. So they didn't really get a good look at a guy that was in shape and at the top of his ability, like the guy at UNLV that played himself into the #1 pick. Bennett, finger roll, no. And jump ball as Bennett jumps in there to tie it up. Bennett in UNLV in his 1 year there averaged over 16 points and 8 rebounds a game, shot 53.5% from the field.
He's a man-child. And you know what? Sometimes a change of venue is just what the doctor ordered. We've seen it multiple times in this league. You have to make a top 10 list of guys that were drafted by one team, went on to another team and played well.
But you don't usually see it that quick, Jim. Not a year after you've been picked #1 overall. I mean, this is unprecedented for him to be traded away so quickly and maybe be able to have such a rapid turnaround. We know it's very early in the preseason, but Gorgie Jang is fouled as he tries to go up with it.
I'm putting my list together, so just stay tuned, all right, Dave Benz?
Your top 5 list. We're looking forward to seeing those come back this season.
Exactly right.
Good looking Anthony Bennett. You know, all the people who were saying, oh, he looks pudgy, he looks heavy, he can forget about that. He and Shabazz Muhammad, they were proud to take their shirts off at Media Day and get their picture taken and show off what they've been working on. Well, the Timberwolves have plenty of new faces this season, and now on FoxSportsNorth.com, Philip Irvin gives you all the information on everybody on the roster with his Wolves player profiles. Look for a new one every Tuesday and Friday leading up to the start of the season. Phil Irvin doing a great job, FoxSportsNorth.com.
Yes, as always.
You know, when Joe Neeson left, I was like, those are big shoes to fill, but Phil has done a nice job.
Yes, he has.
Sims shoveled his feet, did that in the first half as well. Mo Williams, he's looked impressive here tonight. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 of 5 from three-point range. And that triple drops through for Mr. Levine. His first 3 of the night. He's got 13 points. Wolves have hit on 6 of their last 7 attempts. Davies, the BYU product, gets it to roll in.
Philadelphia has a lot of players on their roster right now that are not household names. All the household names are sitting over there in street clothes, except for Nerlens Noel, who's in his uniform but sitting on the sideline. When that whole team gets together, they're going to be very interesting to watch as well.
Williams feeds underneath for Anthony Bennett, hangs in the air but has it sent the other way by Sims. Casper Ware a little strong on that try. Bennett another rebound. Here come the Wolves off and running. Levine against Ware. And Levine draws the foul against Casper Ware.
Zach Levine gets the ball in his hands and starts sprint dribbling up the floor, and it takes your breath away when you see Andrew Wiggins on one wing and Anthony Bennett trailing the play. You got Mo Williams out spotting up in the perimeter, and you don't know what's going to happen. This is going to be a fun season.
Well, tickets for the Timberwolves home opener are on sale now. Speaking of fun seasons, you could come be a part of it. Thursday, October 30th, this ferocious new pack of hungry Wolves going to host the Detroit Pistons right here at Target Center. Get your tickets now at timberwolves.com/WolvesTix. It is feeding time, folks. And these players are young, but they are hungry. They are athletic. They are talented. It's just going to be a matter of how quickly can they learn. And
let's not get things twisted. The Los Angeles Clippers are still the gold standard right now, right? With DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin and Chris Paul running and sort of being the maestro. It's still the gold standard of high-flying acts. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to be long before this Timberwolves team is going to be a league pass favorite. That's for sure.
Bennett will take it. Reacted like he thought it was going down. It just rattled out. Sims is fouled by Gorgui Dieng. Some great little nugget on Gorgui Dieng I found out about down in training camp. Gorgui Dieng, and I guess this really shouldn't be this tough to figure out, but Gorgui, very tight friendship with Teddy Bridgewater of the Minnesota Vikings. Spent a lot of time together in Louisville.
Oh, yeah. And one of our Lynx players on the WNBA side, Asia Taylor. All 3 of them were at Louisville together, all 3 very tight. I would talk to Asia Taylor all the time. Gorgui was at a lot of Lynx games. Gorgui came to probably 14 Lynx games this summer.
Gorgui was
here a lot.
He was here all summer, and he also worked out at your alma mater, Jim. Worked out at the University of Minnesota. Good friendship with Richard Pitino. He said that Richard isn't just a former coach that he played under at Louisville. He's also a very good friend.
Exactly right.
So a lot of interesting Louisville connections going on here in the Twin Cities. Mo Williams, no. Casper Ware will bring it up. Elliott Williams, and he walked. Good look at Brett Brown. Longtime assistant with San Antonio Spurs. No doubt he looks down at his roster and wonders what this team can be like when all his guys are healthy. Levine. Sims with the board. Williams. Davies. And a late whistle. Going to get Anthony Bennett. Well, tickets are now on sale for Saturday, November 1st, when the Timberwolves host the Chicago Bulls. Be there when Derrick Rose returns to Target Center to face Ricky Rubio and the Pack. It is the Bulls' only trip to Minneapolis this season. You don't want to miss it. Visit Timberwolves.com/WolvesTix to get your seats right now. A lot of people picking the Chicago Bulls to be the team to beat the Eastern Conference, even with LeBron James and Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving and Cleveland.
You want to name any names? You say lots of people. Are you air quotes over here with people?
Some national. Who are you? Some national.
How can you not
publications.
pick LeBron James?
I didn't say I'm picking against LeBron, but hey, Chicago. We'll see. Derrick Rose looked pretty good playing for the U.S. national team at the World Cup. He throws it into the corner and nobody there, so the Wolves will turn it over. 15th turnover of the night against Minnesota, but they've mitigated the damage, Jim. They've only given up 9 points off those turnovers.
Minnesota's been opportunistic, active hands. Any kind of speed cut off a post feed has been a potential steal situation.
Malcolm Lee, former Timberwolf, into the game for the first time tonight. Nice pass down low from Malcolm Lee as he finds Ronald Roberts. Sixers going deep under the roster now here for the final 3 minutes plus at Target Center. Williams a little strong. Bennett goes up for it. Able to come away with the basketball and throw it down. Wow.
That's exciting right there, to see a guy go up in a pack like that, come down with the basketball, and then finish like that.
That was Ronald Roberts' rebound to have.
That's special.
He just took it away. The three by Davies. After this game, the Timberwolves will have a full week off before taking on Milwaukee a week from tonight. A game that is technically designated as a home game, but will not be played here at Target Center. And one more look at Anthony Bennett, who, Jim, he has been impressive.
He went up in a pack, gets the rebound, knocks it down.
13 and 8 for number 24.
Your face back in 85, 86. Myself, Mitchell Wiggins, and of course Sam Mitchell, who was in training camp with us that season. Sam ended up being cut into training camp for a kid named Steve Harris, who played at Tulsa. There's a great story about that whole thing that we need to talk to Sam with at some point, but it catapulted Sam's career. Steve Harris was kept instead of Sam. Bill Fitch, who was the head coach at the time, sat both Steve Harris down with Sam Mitchell and said to Steve Harris, look, you're going to get the job. I've got to cut this man. But Sam Mitchell actually outplayed Steve Harris in training camp.
Wow, Bo Williams falling to the ground.
It's just one of those things. It's a numbers thing a lot of times. Steve Harris was the first-round pick. Sam Mitchell was out of centenary and he wasn't really a big name. But Sam Mitchell outplayed Steve Harris in that training camp. Bo Williams makes a tough shot right there.
Well, Jim, I told you a little Sam Mitchell nugget that we'll save for later in the season, but to Cliff Notes' version, how his Timberwolves career could have very nearly been interrupted by the U.S. military, and that's called a tease. We'll leave that for later in the season. But
Sam's had a very interesting life, that's for sure. It's been a lot of twists and turns. We were talking about Bill Musselman earlier, how he impacted Flip Saunders. Well, Bill Musselman impacted Sam Mitchell as well. The first coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves was Bill Musselman, and he gave Sam Mitchell a chance, and the rest is history.
90 seconds to go here for the Timberwolves and their home preseason opener. And let's take a look at our Century link to what is next. And I already alluded to it. Timberwolves taking on the Milwaukee Bucks coming up on October 22nd. They will play in Milwaukee. You can catch that game on Fox Sports North, followed by the season opener That is coming up against the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis on the 29th, then back here to take on Detroit. Then a day off, then that game against Chicago. So the Timberwolves will open with 3 games in 4 nights to start the season.
Love it. Can't wait.
And 7 of the first 9, Jim, are on the road, or technically, not necessarily technically on the road, because one of them's Mexico City, which counts as a home game.
We're going to try that again, huh?
Timeout here on the floor. This year it'll be against the Houston Rockets instead of the San Antonio Spurs. Timberwolves organization excited to go back to Mexico City. Everybody associated with what happened last year was very disappointed not to be able to play that game. And I know everybody in the organization honored to be able to be invited to go back and be a part of that. That's part of the global games for the NBA.
I gotta tell you, I'm just watching Flip Saunders right now in the huddle. He's down on one knee, and he's coaching them up right now.
In a preseason game.
I've been around Flip for a long time. I've known Flip since I've been in 7th grade. And when he was at the University of Minnesota as a player, he coached at the University of Minnesota when I played there. Of course, the first stint here when he was head coach. He is so in control, and I was a little bit on the fence about him taking over as coach just because he's got so many responsibilities, and sometimes that can be very daunting. But he's been as energetic, as in control, as creative. He was the right man for the job. When all is said and done, when you look at all the people that came through and the names that were available, Flip Saunders is the best man for this job, and he has been tremendously energetic during this training camp. You noticed it down in Mankato, and it's been great to watch practice how he runs things, but yet he's got Sid Lowe, and he's got Sam Mitchell, and he's got Ryan Saunders that are helping on the show too. So it's been really fun to watch, and I'm just really excited about what's going to happen here this year.
And you saw him talking to Glenn Taylor there, and you know, it's a testament to Flip, and Glenn deserves some credit as well for the organization being able to bring in Anthony Bennett, being able to bring in Andrew Wiggins in a situation in which most people believe the Timberwolves didn't have a whole lot of leverage to be able to pull off that kind of a deal. And oh yeah, by the way, they not only got Bennett and Wiggins, they also were able to get Thad Young out of it and get that $6.3 million cap exception.
Exactly right.
You know, and I know Glenn Taylor doesn't get a lot of the press, but make no mistake, Glenn is also very much involved in these things that go on.
Flip was 21st on that coaching list in terms of wins, 638. So he's 21st of all NBA coaches. But he's 3rd in the active list right now behind Pop and Doc Rivers. He knows what he's doing is the point. The point is this guy knows how to win. He knows the game. Very creative coach. And I think he's going to be able to coach this young team up.
Wiggins on the baseline, off the mark.
And by the way, the most successful coach in this franchise history, too, by the way.
The thing that really stood out in training camp, and I know I talked to you about this very excitedly on the phone, as I recall, from Matt Cato when you first called me after a couple days. You know, you were sitting on a beach in Hawaii. That must have been around. and asked me how it was going.
Right?
What did I tell you? I said the way Flip runs his practices, every single drill is a competition. And these guys are so young and so competitive. They want to win it, whether it's a trap-in competition or a mid-range competition. Shot clock down to 1. And the Wolves do get it off. Wiggins, it's long, and with 12.9 to go, Philly will get the ball back. But it was brilliant the way Flip ran the camp. Got everybody excited. Everybody bought into it.
And look what he's doing right now. He was drawing action up, and he's trying to get these guys to execute a certain play set, and he's not happy with the execution, but you see the way that he's encouraging his players, being tough but still encouraging. It's really going to be a fun thing to watch the growth, and that's what he's talking about, is the development of these young guys. So, you know, bringing in a Ryan Saunders, bringing in a Mike Penrose, bringing in the player development guys, keeping David Adelman on, who's also very good at player development.
And oh yeah, by the way, he's done this before. A couple of guys like Steph Marbury and Kevin Garnett come to mind.
Exactly right. He took those 2 young guys, and Steph was the one who ejected himself from the situation. It was really one of the most disappointing things in my basketball career, of my basketball life. I've been involved with the NBA in one form or another since '84. When Stephon Marbury pulled the plug on the Garnett-Marbury dynamic, it was very disappointing because it really could have been something great. There should have been a camera in the arena to watch Sam Mitchell. It happened actually, the trade happened in Oakland at Golden State. Sam Mitchell throwing basketballs up into the stands when it happened because everybody knew what that meant when Steph Marbury said, "I want out."
Everybody clap your hands.
Sixers get it into Davies. Zach LaVine, active hands. And the Timberwolves can dribble this one out. LaVine will do just that. And the Target Center crowd will come to its feet and stamp its approval on this one. Timberwolves 116, Philadelphia 110. Timberwolves 32-6 in fast break points in this one. And the young ones coming up big. LaVine had 15 points. Wiggins had 11 points. And how about Anthony Bennett knocking on the door of a double-double with 13 points and 8 rebounds. And it wasn't all just the youth movement here tonight, however. The leading scorer in this one for either team was Mo Williams, the veteran, bringing it off the bench tonight. And Mo joining us right now. Mo, nice effort for your team. We were talking about the young guys, but hey, the veterans have had a say in this early part of the season, preseason as well.
Oh yeah. We you know, we just trying to come be official myself. Look at Ricky, what a photo bomb here. But we, you know, Coach gave me a lot of slack last game I didn't play. He said that's all he had to do for me is tell me I wasn't going to play, and I came to practice. So I'm just trying to let them know I still got it.
Mo, you've been very vocal with this team in the practices. Communication, I know, is a key. And you know, I know you coach AAU in the summer, and you've said, hey, don't talk about me as a coach. I got a lot to play. But as far as being a veteran leader, is that a role you kind of have embraced with this team?
Well, yes, yes. But you know, that's just kind of my personality. You know, that's just who I am. You know, I don't have a jealous bone in my body. I'm always trying to help the next man, no matter if we're in competition. It doesn't matter. We got the same jersey on. You know, I'm gonna fight for you. I'm gonna try to help you when I can. And I hope the same thing in return.
Hey Mo, what do you see when you look at Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, and AB right now, Anthony Bennett, those three young guys and what they were able to do in this game tonight?
A lot of potential, They don't know it all yet. They're still learning, and you know, the best thing that can happen to them is to get guys around them that want to see them succeed, want to see them get better, and they have it here with like guys like myself, guys like Kmart, you know, to name a few, even Brew. You know, that's a guy that's, you know, played the same position as Drew, and he's doing a good job of helping him also. You know, we continue to just bring those guys along, but at the same time, you know, we got to bring it too, because these fans and, you know, myself included, you know, we want to win. You know, and at the end of the day, we want those young guys to be able to come out and perform well and give us what they can. And the only way we know we can get it is we help them, because, you know, playing in this league is extremely hard, especially as a young kid.
Well, you were a big part of it tonight, Mo, with 19 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. Go enjoy the victory, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Mo, appreciate you taking the time. We're taking time out here as well. Timberwolves win this one by 6 tonight at Target Center.